Get ready for beachy, breezy, coastal farmhouse decor. It'll have your house feeling like that seaside getaway in no time at all. And with Dollar Tree products, you can't beat the price. And as always, DIY treats. Welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. Hi guys, it's Aneka and welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. I am so excited because today's DIY are all blue and white, farmhousey, coastal type DIYs, and these DIYs just remind me of my childhood. You guys might not know, but I actually grew up in Florida, and no matter where I lived in my childhood, I was only like 30 minutes to an hour from a beach. So all the thoughts of sand and sun just made me so happy, and I really enjoyed these, so I hope you guys do too. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Everybody hit that notification bell so you'll be ready when my next video comes out. And after the video, head down to the comments and let me know which one was your favorite, or just say hi. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. Okay guys, it's time to craft. So this DIY was inspired by this piece that I saw on Etsy. I loved everything about it. I think it's adorable. I love the rope, but I wanted to incorporate it into a pizza pan craft that I had been intending to make for a while. So I got this little circular beach sign from the Dollar Tree, and I noticed that it fits perfectly right into the pizza pan. So I'm just going to put some hot glue all over it, flip it back over, and stick it to my pan. Next, I grabbed some nautical rope also that I got from Dollar Tree, and you guys, I use this stuff so much that I did have a lot of scraps that I used. I do think though altogether I probably used about 2 full packs of the nautical rope. You might want to grab 3 just in case. So I'm going to make 1 pass of the nautical rope right around the edge of the pizza pan, like you've probably seen done on a lot of those adorable pizza pans that we've seen around. Next, I'm going to do another ring around the inside of that first ring of nautical rope. And I really wanted to do this, one, because I wanted to build it up, but also I wanted to cover up that hole where the rope was to hang it originally. Next, I'm going to do a row of nautical rope in between the first 2 that I put on there. And then I'm going to do a rope just outside of the rope that is on there. So what I'm trying to do is build up kind of a circular shape to this nautical rope going around this pan. So that's why I did the one on top so that it would be a little bit rounded. And I'm going to do another row right after this to cover up that last edge. Now, if you are using scraps like me, be sure to start and stop your scraps at the same point or in the 4 corners of the pizza pan, because we're going to be covering that up, and so that's the best way to cover up your ends. Next, I'm going to take some twine, and I need to glue all these pieces of twine together. So in order to save my fingers from being burned by hot glue, I grabbed some parchment paper and I basically put the glue down right next to the piece of twine that I started with. So I started with 1 piece, I put the hot glue basically on the parchment paper right next to it, and then I slid my next piece of twine over that hot glue and onto my original piece of twine. Now, I was able to do this without getting any hot glue on my fingers, and none of the hot glue seeped through the top. And I did this for 10 rows of twine. Once it was done, I was able to peel it right off. They all stuck together and they were like a strip of twine with hot glue on the back. Next, I cut off the edge just to even it out, and then I needed to measure to see how far around I needed my piece of twine to go to cover up my rope that I put around my pizza pan. So it turns out that I needed about 3 inches. So altogether, I needed about 12 inches of this strip of twine, but I would recommend you doing 13 to 14 just to give yourself a little extra margin in case you make a mistake. Next, I'm going to put some hot glue right at the top of my pizza pan and slide my rope of twine right into it. I let that dry and then I wrapped it around my rope and hot glued it to the back. This way it looked like it was wrapped all around my rope that I put around the edge of my pizza pan, and it gave it that nautical look. I did the same thing in the other 3 corners of my pizza pan. Once I had all 4 secured to the back, that was it. I absolutely love how this came out. I would never have been able to make a graphic like this on my own, and I was so happy when it fit right into that pizza pan, and giving it that little bit of nautical flair with the rope around the outside really added to that coastal farmhouse look. I think it's adorable. So for my next DIY, I have this frame. It's about 7.5 by 7.5, and they actually have some at Dollar Tree sometimes that are not canvases. They have actual wood pictures in them, but I could not find one when I was looking. I'm trying to avoid going Dollar Tree hunting and going out to too many stores, so I just grabbed this canvas. I went ahead and took the staples out of it, and in order to create the back, since I could not find one, I'm just going to cut this sign to size, use my X-Acto knife to cut it out, and glue it to the bottom. Now, if you can find the kind with the wood already in it, I would recommend doing this. This is just an extra step and an option in case you are not able to find one. Another option would be using some foam board. This is not going to hold anything too heavy, so if you want to use a foam project board, that could work too. So I'm just going to keep working with my X-Acto knife, bending and cutting until I can get through it. Just be careful because these knives are very sharp. Once I had it off, I went ahead and sanded it down just a little bit, and then I was ready to paint everything. So I went ahead and painted everything white, including one of the long skewers that you can find in the kitchen section at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to paint my base white and my frame and my skewer. Now, a little while ago, I painted some little planters with this ombre kind of effect, and I thought it would be adorable for this coastal farmhouse look. I thought it kind of reminded me of the ocean. It had very organic shapes, so I'm going to recreate it on this project. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a very light color with my blue. I used agave and added some white. Then I'm just going to make an organic kind of wave all the way across the top. I'm going to use my dryer to help dry it more quickly. And then I'm going to add a little more agave paint to my lighter color, and this is going to make kind of a medium blue color. Now I'm going to do another layer of just a random shape, and that's what I love about this. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can just make any kind of wavy shape and fill it in. Last, I'm going to use just the pure agave paint. I'm going to make another wavy line and fill it in. Once that's done, I'm going to go back and just touch up my white in case any of the blue got into the white portion so that it can look nice and clean. Now it's time to glue my frame back onto the backing. So I'm just going to use some hot glue, flip it right over, and now I have my frame on the backing. Now I wasn't able to get it exactly, and I didn't like how you could see it, so I did cover that up later, but I will show you how I did that when we get to that step. Next, I need to cut my skewer to fit into my frame. We're going to be making a nautical tic-tac-toe game here, so I need to make my boxes so that we know where our game pieces will go. So I cut it off, and like I said, this is about 7.5 inches on the inside, but really it's a little more than 7.5. So I marked off just past the 2.5 inch mark and just past the 5 inch mark, and I put my skewer right on those marks. And I did the same thing with the other skewer. Next, I turned it to the side and I did the same thing again. I marked just past the 2.5 inch mark and just past the 5 inch mark, and I put 2 more skewers that were cut to 7.5 inches into my game board. Now, like I said, this is just slightly more than 7.5 inches, so really I did just eyeball it. If it looked like one of the boxes was bigger than the other, then I just slid it over just a little bit to make it look even. Next, I tried to paint that part where the board and the frame met, but because they were not originally together, I could still see a gap and I didn't like that. So I took a little piece of rope and I glued it along that edge, and it covered it up perfectly, and it helped this to fit right in to that nautical theme with the rope. So I call this one a happy mistake because I love the way it looks with the rope on the outside. And now my tic-tac-toe game is finished. I'm going to use some starfish and some shells as my game pieces. I think this would be absolutely adorable to have out in your house for people to play with when they come over, for your family to just play as they're sitting around. It's so fun and so easy. This next DIY is one that I absolutely love. I'm going to show you how to make a candle holder out of rope. Now this is just some of the nautical rope that I got from Dollar Tree. I believe it comes in about 9.5 feet. I'm going to tape off the edges just so it doesn't come apart while I'm working with it, and I'm going to slide a rubber band onto my candle. This is the candle that I plan to use for this. You do need either your candle or something that's the size of your candle to work with. This looks complicated, but it is so easy once you see how it's done. So I'm going to start by slipping one end of my rope under the rubber band. This is just going to hold it still for me, and I'm going to refer to this as my standing end. Now I'm going to wrap my rope around, come across my standing end, and then wrap around one more time. Then I'm going to take my working end, which is the opposite end of the rope, and slide it right under my original rope. So now I have 3 pieces of rope right on top. Next, I'm going to take my working end, I'm going to go over the middle piece and under the right piece, and I'm going to pull it all the way through. Once I've done this, I have 3 pieces of rope again. Now I'm going to take my left piece of rope, cross it over the right, and again I'm going to go over the first piece of rope and under the second. And pull it all the way through. Now I have my 3 pieces again, and I'm back where I started. So now all we're going to do is follow our original rope all the way around again. So once you've got that first piece completed, all you're doing is following the path that you've already done. Now before we go too far around, it really helps to loosen everything up. So give yourself a little bit of slack on your working end and loosen every piece of this up. That way, as you go, it'll just be much easier to get everything through the holes, and it'll tighten up as we add layers. So now 2 more times, I'm just going to follow that original rope all the way around. So wherever the rope goes under, I'm going to put it under and pull all the way through. I'm going to continue to follow it until it goes under the next piece and pull it all the way through. And you're just going to continue to follow your original rope all the way around. Once you've gotten all the way through one time, you're just going to do it again. I did 3 times total. And now we're back to where we started with our standing end and the working end ending under that same row of rope. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my tape off and just tuck this right under that last row. This knot is pretty stable. You can hot glue it if you want to, but it's not prone to coming out. Now you can stop there and just have it be a beautiful cuff around your candle, but I want to make this into a candle holder. So I'm going to slide this down so that the first row of rope is hanging over the edge of my candle. Then I'm going to find the end of my working arm and I'm going to work backwards this time. I'm just going to start tightening that rope up all the way around my candle holder, making sure that some of them are on the bottom of my candle. So I'm making a bit of a cup. And I'm just going to follow it around until I get to the beginning, tightening as I go. Once I get to the beginning, I'll have a little bit of slack, which I can then cut off and tuck right under that row of rope. Once again, if you want to hot glue this, you can, but it should stay nice and secure. And that's it. This is perfect for that coastal farmhouse theme. That nautical rope is just so pretty the way it's weaved around there, and I absolutely think this is so fun. Here's another one I made with a thinner rope. I did 5 times around instead of 3. And here's one that I did that has the cuff. So instead of making it into a candle holder, I just slid it up and put a starfish on it. Now this last one, I just wanted to show you guys all of these cool candle holders they have at Dollar Tree. I am of the opinion that I can never have enough candles. So I had some candle holders that I had used in other DIYs. These pink ones are from some 3-tiered trays that I made for my kids to have tea parties. And they had some pretty epic tea parties with their pink unicorn trays, but they did end up destroying them. So I'm just going to take these candlesticks, paint them that agave color. I painted some white and I left some clear. And I'm just going to make some fun candle holders with all of the cool things that they have right now at Dollar Tree. Now these might be my favorite. I got these from Dollar General actually, but they are so pretty. I think they were about $1.50 to $2, but they are absolutely gorgeous. And that's it. An easy way to add a touch of class to your coastal farmhouse decor. So I have to say that my favorite were those rope candle holders. And the reason is because I got to learn a new skill to make these. And well, I love learning new things. The first one probably took me about 30 minutes, but after that I was whipping them out in like 10, 15 minutes. And I think a lot of people in my life are gonna get these as gifts because I really liked making them and I think they're gorgeous. I actually think that they would be really pretty around Christmas to have candles in them and to have them in some greenery, just with some different holiday picks. These are gonna be all over my house for a long time to come. So head down to the comments and let me know which one was your favorite. So for today's treat, I was going with that coastal theme, and so I have some adorable little oyster cookies to show you. They're super easy. I think they would be fun for any beach party or any beach themed party, and the kids can get involved with these. So I always like those kind of treats. So it's time to eat. So all we need is some vanilla wafers or some oyster-shaped shortbread cookies, some white chocolate covered raisins, and some white icing. I'm going to take my icing and add 3 drops of blue and 1 of green. Of course, you can use whatever proportions you want, but I'm going to make a nice ocean blue color for my icing. Once that's mixed, I put it in a plastic bag with the end snipped off. I'm going to put my first vanilla wafers down upside down and pipe a little bit of icing right onto the top of those cookies. Next, our oysters need pearls, so I'm going to put my raisin right on the middle of my cookie. And now we need the top of our oyster shell. That is it, but could you imagine these little cookies being out on your table? So adorable. I hope you enjoyed the DIYs I had for you today. Don't forget to head down to the comments and let me know which one was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we repeat it all again.